Welcome to the Random Task, where we are always random and never on task. All right, so it is the day after 9/11, so that'd be 9/12, and it is a Tuesday. So we were going to talk about today where we were on 9/11, because it was 22 years ago now.
It's hard to believe. We're at 22 years ago.
No.
That's
I
insane.
know.
Seems like it just happened yesterday.
And, and it's really sad that even happened, because, so many people were
Didn't
doing
have
regular
to.
We that day.
I
We were
know.
living our lives, I went to work. I worked at this foundry, and it was dirty out in Stevensville, called Anstey Foundry. And I remember one of the guys that worked with me, I thought he was a kook for saying this, but he was running through saying,
Right.
"We're under attack. We're under attack." I'm like, no way. No
Yeah.
way are we under
Like,
attack.
no one would believe that.
'Cause-
Probably just thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
we're-
I probably would have dismissed it.
I know.
too.
Right, because we're I'm like, there's no way, because we're
No
the greatest
TV
country
on
in the world.
Yeah.
So I go up to where the office is, because there's television in there, and I see the World Trade Center,
Right.
and one of them is smoking. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden, within 3 seconds, the other plane hit the other building, and I'm like, oh my God, we are.
Yeah.
And then later on that day is when I found out the extent of what really went on with the Pentagon, United Flight 93, and just
Right.
all of
American
that,
11.
It was
And-
on CNN all day.
Yeah.
They just
Oh,
kept
yeah,
showing
all
it
around
and
the
showing
clock.
it. I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, oh my gosh.
yeah.
Just the horror of it,
Still do.
the horror
Yeah.
of it. That's
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
horror.
And it's
Horror of it,
yes.
yeah.
and it's so sad that
It is.
the families have had to go through all of that, and
Yeah.
it
The
was
heroes that
and the
went in there,
firefighters and the
yeah.
police officers,
Everybody.
every single person involved. It's
Yep.
so tragic. But so that's where I was. I was at work that morning. Where were you?
I
That was me.
actually in bed sleeping.
Were you
My
really?
friend came over freaking out. I
Mm-hmm.
had to let her in the house, because she was my ride to work for a while. And I was like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
She's like, haven't you heard? Haven't you seen? I'm like, seen what? I just woke up.
Right.
So, yeah, it was kind of crazy.
It is.
Mhm.
And what about, and then Aggie? I know where you were, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I had said a little bit before, but I was in at the Cleveland Clinic
Oh, wow.
for treatment for like
Your neurological.
RSD stuff. You had neurological stuff. But anyway, so I stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, where a lot of other little kids and a bunch of families. There are
Yeah.
families from like Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know
People
that.
from all over the world
Wow.
were there.
I
Yeah,
had no idea
a
about
lot
that.
of them from like the Middle East, though, and and
come from
gotten
all
to know
over
these
for-
people,
Okay.
and they're great people. Just they're getting their kids,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fixed, which they can't get there, or they're not allowed to.
Right, that is true.
And I remember I was sleeping too, and then like our neighbor had knocked on the door, and because we'd been there like 6 month stint by then, so we knew everybody.
Aw.
And he knocked on the door, and he comes in, turns TV on, and trying to tell us what's going on, because he's freaking out, because he was from Yemen,
Right.
And I just remember seeing that, and they're like, we don't know if it's a prop plane or what,
That's why
you
everybody
know?
kept saying their survival stories. No one knew if it was a prop plane. I was like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like we're watching it, and then all of a sudden you see the other one just kind of wrap around, and it's just like
Yeah.
all the people from everywhere were scared, but the people from the Middle East, I've never saw people scramble so much. They were just like terrified. They were, because people were looking at them funny. That's what they were afraid of.
I guess I didn't think
You
about
know what
that
I mean?
side
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
of that aspect.
I felt horrible for them.
yeah,
because
I never
like
thought about the ones
obviously,
that actually wanted to start
yeah.
a new life here.
Yes. And then obviously nothing to do with it. And,
Right, exactly.
And they didn't know if a plane was going to hit Cleveland. They were starting to shut all the airports down, and they closed Cleveland off. I mean,
Oh,
we
wow.
were cut
Yeah.
Oh my
off.
God.
Yeah.
Every jet I heard that was landing, like, dude, my heart just like went to in your throat.
Oh yeah, I was like, is this it?
Is it coming?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
we weren't
God.
even a mile from the city. We were like in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, those poor families, like I knew we were just horrified, but like, Oh my gosh.
And
They'd go there on the weekends. We were going to go that weekend because the family's like, you should see New York. Because I've always wanted
seriously?
to. It's like my dream.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
You know? And they were going to take us, and this happens. And it's like, whoa.
I know.
right.
Can you imagine?
You know, and it's funny.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had you tell that because we
It
have
is
one
really
of our
amazing, actually.
one of my
It's
friends
really-
that's a listener of our program here. She lives in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
And when it happened, they shut school down and sent
Oh, yeah.
everybody home.
They shut
And I mean,
everything
they
down.
shut the entire damn place
Yeah,
down.
you couldn't
Did
enter, you
all
couldn't
schools
leave.
close that day, or just like?
Oh yeah, anyone who was in
I
school, they
like,
sent them home.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sent them
tired,
home.
so I have
There it
no
was.
idea.
And
Yeah.
you know, and then I'll never forget.
Everything just shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on in that afternoon, because in the morning gasoline was like $1.29. By 4:00 in the afternoon, it was $2.
Oh, really?
And
I
29
remember when it
cents.
skyrocketed. Everybody was like freaking out.
Yeah, the one right across from your former place. Yeah, that was. It went from $1.29 to
I can believe
$2.29.
it. Yeah, that's
B-E.
crazy.
Yeah,
Cass Evans,
yeah, that's it. Blank Evans.
bitch Evans.
Yeah. Yes.
Bill
yes.
Evans.
Bill Evans, though. All right, we had to bring a little bit of light
Sorry.
into this. We did, because this is kind of a somber thing, but at the same time, we're making fun of Bob.
We are
But
who we
anyways,
are. Yeah. You know.
Like, I didn't know George Bush was actually talking to kids at a school.
He
when
was.
it
He was
happened.
reading. He was
And he had
reading.
to go
Yeah,
to a
wasn't
classroom
he?
and
Yeah.
like.
When they told him what happened,
They
he had
showed
to
it,
go.
and the
right
look
out of
on his
there.
face,
Yeah.
dude, was just like,
And the thing is like I heard that they were warned a year before.
yeah, that's
Or a couple years
right.
before
Gone
that
around,
something
yeah.
like this was going to happen. And the thing of it is like leading up to like all of it, like in 1993, when the World Trade Center was bombed with that truck that had like
See,
the
I never knew about that. I'd heard
yeah.
about it after,
There are so many
9/11.
survivors survived the '93 bombing.
Oh yeah.
On top of the not New World Trade Center one, but that's
But
just
the
crazy.
one that
Twice,
brought it down, yeah.
That's insane.
So
that they
what happened to
They
them?
actually have they had kits this time,
Oh yeah, wow.
like survival kits, sort of.
Oh,
Like, they were
wow.
pulling
And just
them
in case
out.
it was
the
to
people
happen
were pulling
again.
them out to go down
Oh.
the steps, like
Yeah.
with masks
Yeah.
and flashlights and stuff.
Oh,
That's
sure.
insane that they had kits ready.
Yeah. Well, think about it. The World Trade Center was the central point of
Yeah.
every business.
Yeah, a
Like
lot
in
of
the world.
The stories I found were from like people like Euro brokers.
yeah.
It was just like, wow, I never knew. I'm like, you don't even think of
Yeah.
these things. It's like, holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Oh yeah.
I know, and then you read about it, and like some people's stories, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Like that
nuts.
guy that was somehow that he got a lot of his people down to like the 22nd floor,
Yeah,
and then he just like he said everything just started crumbling when the tower's collapsing, and so he just like huddled in a corner, tucked his head in, and he said he was just waiting to die,
right.
but he fell 22 stories
What?
down. That's crazy.
My God,
like
man.
the image they were
And
given,
lived,
like
huh?
online, it looked like he was like in a tornado, like in the debris. It was like really weird. You could see like
Wow.
stuff.
That's a
going
freaking
around.
miracle, dude.
When
Wow.
he came to, he thinks he came to what 2 or 3 hours later. He was found on a ledge,
That's crazy.
and the firefighter actually thought he was being a lazy firefighter. They were both confused.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's like, "How the hell did you get up here?" He's like, "I don't know. I just woke up here."
Wow.
So they got
That's
him down.
nuts.
That's just crazy. Like,
I'm
he
glad
thought he
they
was
saw
dead.
him.
He actually thought he was dead when he woke up, because he's like, when I woke up, it was like a clear blue, beautiful sky. He's
Yeah,
like, I
there
thought
was
I was
no-
having an out-of-body experience.
Wow.
And
Right.
he's like,
Maybe
I thought
he
I was
did.
dead, like looking at
Yeah.
myself outside my own body.
Right, yeah.
Until the firefighter, I guess, that spoke to him was like, wow, that's crazy.
The
Wow.
odds of that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
One of the most messed up parts I saw is when you saw the folks jumping out of the top floors.
They did talk about that.
I never
There was
saw
a news
that.
reporter, so she was
Dude.
31 years old. She was sent on this assignment because the smoke was coming out of the World Trade Center.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
they sent the new girl.
Well, of course
Not
they
knowing
would.
what the hell she
What?
got.
That
I guess
made her career.
they purposely left out, because she asked like, "What are those like flashes?"
Right.
And they told her those are people jumping. It was the tides going
Yep.
up in the wind and falling, like the tide text you could see.
Yeah.
That was making the
Flashing in the
Yeah.
sky.
Oh, my.
and they purposely cut all that out for families not to see on.
Yeah,
TV.
I was going to
I
say.
mean, that's pretty amazing.
But when
on
it
their
was
end.
live, it was happening. I
I
saw
know.
it.
I'm glad I
and she
didn't
was
see that.
crying, talking about it like
I think
20
that's
years
probably 15,
later.
Maybe?
Huh?
15? I think it was 15 to 14.
How many victims
Maybe?
were there of the
There
9/11?
actually, Maybe,
Maybe
I've
not.
got it somewhere.
I know it was in the thousands.
So,
Maybe I was a little older, 16 maybe.
Oh, there it is. Up there at the top.
I think it's like 2,997
Yeah,
total
my
that died
God.
that day.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Like, it gave, like, the spouses lost. It was, like, 1,069 lost spouses.
Oh my God.
3,054 kids lost a parent that day.
Oh my God.
Like, 5 million soldiers served, since 2011.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people
2 million
actually
have
signed
deployed
up.
to Afghanistan
Yeah.
and Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Over 5,000 soldiers have been killed in action.
Hey, speaking of soldiers,
45,000 men wounded. So I'm like, I
Wow.
mean, that's probably doubled by then.
you know, one of them soldiers that were
crazy.
wounded or killed was Pat Tillman. He was a
Oh, I
famous
know.
football
I forgot
player.
about that.
He's a
Yes.
fucking hero.
I know. I totally I forgot about that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh my God, Pat Tillman is the all-American man, and I'm telling you
Right.
why. He played football, gave up a career to sign up for the Army to go and help fight
Yeah.
in this, and died.
Yeah, I mean, a
Wow.
lot of
He
people
died.
died like that. You know, there's a lot of heroes.
He-
you know,
he gave up
people you
five-
don't know the name.
He gave up $5 million a year
Hey,
for us.
Wow.
that's the ultimate
Think about
choice.
that.
You know,
But
and
he did that because that's how he felt for his
Mhm.
country. And I'm telling you what, he's a patriot. Man's a patriot. Pat Tillman, rest in peace, brother.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm trying to find the one, but the guy had served in Vietnam,
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
and he was actually dying of some kind of cancer, but he rescued over, like, I want to say he got like 2,700 people to safety.
Wow.
That's amazing.
He died
Wow.
doing it, but he was terminally ill anyway. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's pretty heroic.
But he
It
lived out
is,
the
though.
last bit of his
yeah,
life.
I know.
that's his legacy now.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, he's
yeah.
a- oh,
what
it's a-
one to have.
There's a special place in heaven for that.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Mhm.
I was trying to find it, but I can't find it
You
anymore.
know?
But
Wow.
oh,
What a
I
trip,
know.
man. You know? I mean, Jesus Christ. That stuff is like, you know, it's like it kind of, you go to talk about something of the sorts like we are now, and then you just
Right.
draw a blank because there's so many of it, but you have no idea where to, like, begin. Like, you did your homework.
I tried.
No, you did.
It was like
You
really
always
like
do.
just
But-
watching these stories one
Oh,
after
sure.
another, just like, oh my god.
I know. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
Like
thinking
usually
it
that
too,
shit
but I
doesn't
was
even
like,
get to me, but it was like later when you start thinking about it in your
Yeah.
head, like
Oh, yeah.
I just like tears are streaming. I'm
Do you-
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You remember 2 days later when they had the telethon for America, a Tribute to Heroes?
I do not.
Oh my God, I sat and
That's
watched that
cool.
whole thing. There's everybody
I remember it.
went
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Everyone. And they played music
All the
and they,
freaking music, like
I remember everybody
anybody
just
that
going to
was
church
hot,
that night.
everybody
like,
who
yes,
was anybody. Bon Jovi played "Living on a
Ooh,
Prayer"
across the street.
acoustically.
Aw,
You
that's
know,
cool.
Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit with Goo Goo Dolls
I
played
remember
"Wish You Were
that.
Here" by Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
Wow.
They did. It was
They did.
powerful. Sting played, I think, Desert Rose.
freaking everybody,
It was
like
beautiful.
everybody,
That would
Michael
be-
Jackson,
Oh.
like
I'll have to look up, see if I
everybody.
can find it.
Everyone.
Wow.
Everyone. And it was, I sat and watched that, and, you know, and the music from that to this day is still some of the best music I've ever heard,
I'll have
because
to find it on YouTube.
it had, yes,
Yeah.
you watch it, America,
Yeah.
and they had Paul Simon
Aw.
sing "Bridge Over Troubled Water."
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, he
It
wrote
was
the song.
emotional. Yeah,
Yeah.
He wrote that song, but Art Garfunkel sung it.
right.
But this time, Paul Simon sung it, and
yeah,
it was so fitting of just
That would be.
it was.
Right.
It really was. It was a trip, man, and it's so sad that that should not have ever happened.
No, it should not have.
You know.
No.
And then all the dust in the air and the asbestos.
Yeah.
Oh, I
people that
know.
have
People that
cancer
did
now.
survive were
Yeah.
dying afterwards
Right.
because
Yeah.
of like long-term
That's
illnesses.
You know, and
That's
even
not even right.
and even though that building was like up the way it was, asbestos is harmless when it's undisturbed. Okay,
Oh,
which
very
means you
disturbed.
don't, which you don't,
Right.
hit it with a hammer or cut it with a saw. But when you hit it with an airplane and you have 100 and some odd floors come down,
Oh,
and
that was
think about
something.
that.
Yeah. The one survivor said, like, when the first tower came down, it was like all the windows just got blown out,
Yep,
Oh yeah.
from the pressure.
and he said the second one blew it outward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why everybody was
Yeah.
like running on a dead run. To
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Like that's crazy. Just
Yeah.
to,
Crazy.
I can even
he said that
imagine
they were
that.
in a delicacy trying to get water or something after the first tower had collapsed.
Right.
Oh, actually, no, this was before. And they heard everything coming down, but the windows just blew out while they were in this little cafe.
That is absolutely
And
insane.
the guy hit them all, so they survived that, and then they came out, and then the second tower came down and just blew everybody across. Like, damn.
Jeez.
That's insane.
It is. It's crazy. Like, I'm speechless.
I know. It's still nuts to this day.
To this
I
day.
you
like,
know.
one of the survivors, the lady, she had an apartment like 10 minutes
Down the
across the
road.
highway,
Mhm.
basically overlooks the harbor, and she actually just went home. She's like, I didn't know what to do. I just
Right.
went home.
Yeah.
So she took some people with her, and they watched it collapse from her apartment.
Wow.
Both towers. She said it was just horrific, just the scene.
Was she not there? Or
No, she was there.
She survived. She came out of the I can't remember which tower she was in.
I know,
It might have been the North Tower.
started coming out. They probably
She's like, I didn't know what to
confused.
do. So we just walked to
Yeah.
my house. I was like, okay,
What
yeah.
else do you do? It's
Yeah,
probably
she's like-
better because the stuff's not falling on
Yeah.
you. Like they said, there are people out there recording. Like I said, where that guy that was on vacation with his son, and they caught it all, and they
Yeah,
thought
that's
like
just
it was
insane.
fireworks at first, and then like, and then
Yeah.
they realized, and you see all these papers and shit coming
Yeah.
out of the windows. Did you see
Right.
it's like receipts or I don't. It's
could
weird.
be,
It's
I don't know.
Streams. I'll try to find it, but it
The
was
one
like
guy said there
streams
was
of
like pieces
paper.
of desks coming down too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Really?
Like the desk
Oh,
and the
God.
water like pipage breaking. I was like, oh my
Oh
god.
man, yeah.
One guy said there was Coke bottles everywhere because a vending machine
Oh,
had blown
sure.
apart.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
just
Oh,
like,
my
holy
God.
crap. You don't think about that stuff.
No. And think if there was
They
one
could
on
kill
every
you, too,
floor.
shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Something exploding or yeah. Jeez.
Like, I felt bad for this one guy. Like, it was not his first day, but his first real day of
Oh.
training for the Euro brokers.
Dear God.
And
He died.
What a first
No.
day.
just no. He survived.
so, like, their meeting was supposed to be like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're like, settle in because we're not going anywhere for the day, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
the trainee was like, they heard what had happened, and the trainee like, everybody sit tight, we're not going anywhere. He's like, fuck you. He's like, I'm not staying here. He grabbed his
Yeah.
backpack and like, I can't remember how many people, I think it's 60 or 71 people followed him.
Good.
And
Good.
he's like, don't go down the elevator. So he let everybody down the steps. They all made it to safety.
Yeah.
They went down.
That's what I would have
Wow.
started doing, is starting
He
to
told
go
him, do
down,
not.
get out of
He's
here.
like, do not take the elevator.
Yeah, because it's disabled.
no, yeah,
I
that's
was
not a good
surprised, like,
idea.
how much, like, they were telling them
Were
to
there
go
people in
back
the
up to their
elevator?
offices. Like, they're like, everything's clear and secure. Go back to your offices. Like, what?
What?
Why would you tell people to go back to your office? That's probably why a
Mess.
lot of the
'Cause
deaths
they're
happened,
stupid.
because people were going back up instead of coming down.
I'll go.
Right.
No way, not.
I know. That's why that
I'm
guy's like,
no.
fuck you.
Maybe-
He,
Yeah.
he took his shit and
I
left.
mean, you can fire my ass. I don't care. I'd rather
Yeah.
live.
Yeah, the
you
one
know?
part was he was talking about he had just been to the Michael Jackson concert the night before, and Michael
Yes.
Jackson was actually supposed to be on American 11,
Yep.
I think.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And then Rob Lowe. That
Oh my
TV show
god,
thing,
that one
yeah.
was insane. He was on the plane with the dry run.
Wow.
The guys from the dry run that were testing out like the plane to come.
Oh,
Rob Lowe was
yeah.
accidentally
my
on
God.
that.
I didn't know
He
that.
got a letter in the mail from one of the terrorist defense attorneys, and he thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Did he?
So he had his lawyer call this lawyer, and he's like,
Right.
"It's not a joke. You were on the plane with all these terrorists."
Wow.
He's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my god,
my
oh,
God.
that's
Yeah.
fucking crazy."
Yeah.
You do a dry run.
Like,
You practice flying the plane.
but that's just crazy.
Oh, okay. I thought you went like near it or
No,
something.
they were all
but-
like on the
Oh.
plane with Rob Lowe, like sitting, like just,
Yeah.
just
Oh, they were on
crazy.
their
Scoping
way.
it out.
Yeah,
They're
they were
scoping
scoping
it out.
like, yeah, wow.
That is messed up. You know, if
Yeah.
they'd locked doors then, shit. You know,
Well-
although God knows what they would have
Yeah,
done anybody else. But you know
right.
what?
How do you know?
Exactly.
Better than a catastrophe of.
But at the same time,
What
you
happened?
can't like say, oh
But
well.
then again, there was
you're-
that German flight, remember, where the door was locked and the real captain couldn't get in because the co-pilot kind of went mental. And
Yeah.
he started to descend and crash him into the mountain.
Oh wow.
I think I heard
That was
about
like in
that.
2015 because we were supposed to fly to Vegas that week, and I was terrified to
Really?
fly.
Oh wow.
Like, I
I
hope
like
to God we don't get a
train.
crazy pilot today.
Right.
I remember even going on trains, like they were worried about it and scanning them for bombs and like yeah.
That's what worries me about Amtrak. Like, there's like no security.
That's frightening.
Like, you have to go through TSA at the airport. Why do you not have to at the train station?
I know. Hell, even
They
bus
should-
station. I mean,
Something.
shit.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
You know, there's yeah.
because a
there's
train
some-
is, I think it's because a train's closer to the ground. You can't travel internationally on a train. And
But what stops them
But
from bringing
still, you
cargo
could
of
totally
bomb,
bomb like
dude?
a
Nothing-
train station so
nothing does.
easily.
Yeah.
It
nothing
just-
does.
yeah.
But I believe they should have X-ray machines or like metal detectors or
Something.
something.
Yes.
Of
They
course.
make us go through a metal
Girl,
detector
Right.
at a train
I had to
station.
fly after 9/11.
I don't mind being wanted. Shut up.
Right?
Mhm.
Make me late. Just
I
so
hate
long as
that
I get
like
there.
body scan, but it makes me feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a
I don't care. I'll do it.
intrathecal what do you call it, epidural, and it's a machine you have in the medicine, you know, like when you have an IV.
Yeah.
It does that, and I have a big bag of it. Was like fentanyl. Okay,
Damn,
yeah, and
girl.
somebody would murder me 100 times over for that. Seriously, so I always put in like a purse, nobody know what it was.
Right.
But you could see the line going to my back, and I couldn't go through the metal detector. I had to. The wand was okay, but if not, it could pull it right out of my spine. You know.
Oh wow.
And it could paralyze me, you know? And, like, the way I was getting looked at, like, it freaked me out, but I get it. I had to go to a room. I was, like, 15, 16, you know, with this guy, like, you know, they're making sure they have medical people, making sure that that's what it is, that it is fentanyl. They call my doctors.
Yeah.
You know, at least I did make it onto the plane, too.
Oh, that's
Because we
good.
came early because we knew something
Right.
they were gonna say something. I'm glad they did. Shit. You know?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, I
It's
mean,
scary.
think about that, you know, because anybody can try to disguise that sort of thing and end
Yes.
up being a bomb.
I can be liquid.
C4.
What do you call it? Yeah, like
You can't
not
have
nitrogen,
liquid
but,
nitrogen's not so available anymore. Now
right.
they get like C4.
yeah,
C4, I think you can get, and like all you need to do is put electrical charge to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it looked like a little thing, and it had like it looked like a timer on it, and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I could see why they were like, "Oh
Is that
shit!"
why they make phones differently now? So you can't really take the backs off. You know how like we used to
You
use
know,
phones
I
as like
wonder.
It
bombs.
pretty much disables. I think so.
You know what I mean? They don't
gotta
have like
be.
the old
It's
school
smart.
battery anymore.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
Which
why.
sucks.
Like they're cracking down on it.
You have to have somebody like professionally
Like the
that
old
can
school
open it
Nokias
up.
or
Well, I tell you what, I would.
yeah.
Yeah, because you have to have tools to actually open it. You can't just slide
Right,
the back
you
of
can't.
it
Like
off.
there's no way
Yeah.
just taking it off
And
like
make
you
an
used to.
igniter
You have to
out of
take
it.
it
Right.
in. Yeah, you
You
take
know,
it in your
unless you know
batteries,
somebody
so-
who knows how to take that shit apart.
Which would be
And
you.
then I mean,
Yeah,
I've worked on
trouble
phones
maybe?
before, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I wouldn't do such a thing.
Well, I know that.
But like,
Thank
and then you
God.
make it to where like the antenna is a receiver, and
Yeah.
once the phone goes off, it's brrr and bang, you know.
Yeah.
And back then it was easier to
Good
do
idea.
because I mean, all you do is hook two wires, one to like an initial positive
Mm-hmm.
that would receive that signal to ignite the, you know, the igniter. But now it's like more complicated. You
Yeah,
have
I
to go
was
through
gonna
this,
say, it looks
this,
really
this,
complicated,
this,
which is
and this.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they complicate it, you know. And of course,
Good.
that's why Apple, you know, they want like authorized Apple folks to work on that stuff because they know what's
Right.
what.
Yep.
But the regular person who that's what they do also knows that that's what these things do.
Right.
And so I'm just glad that they made them more secure. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
me too. Me too. Me
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, because even like on an Android phone, you can't take the back off unless it's like some cheap
An older
straight
one.
talk phone.
An
but-
older Samsungs, yeah.
Right, that you can.
One you can do, but yeah, past like the, what was it, like the 8 Android? I think you were, like you said, they started putting the making it so you couldn't take the back off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, they glued it on there.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's some phones that won't even work with the back off of it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Huh.
just it's a thing, you know. But I mean, most of them will, you know. But I mean, you
Like my
obviously know
phone.
that, you know. But obviously, you'll know that it's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, yeah, your phone.
I can see you right through it.
Can
At
you?
the bottom. I can.
Oh my god.
Can you see that? Like,
Your phone, your poor phone
See
is
the
like
light?
used and abused.
it's gonna. Well,
Oh my god, it's missing chunks.
It's because of my bad arm before we knew it was
Yeah.
wrong, and then it broke here,
Oh, that's
and then
funny.
some reason it did something there.
Uh-huh.
So
That's totally
Yeah.
funny.
We're taking donations for Aggie and
yeah,
Nicole.
right. Early, I'll take any phone.
Yeah.
It's just this is like.
Preferably something secure.
Nah.
But yeah, well, yeah, either way it goes, but still, you know,
Right.
it's just, yeah, like this whole thing, like every time this time of year comes around, it's like a bummer.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a real buzzkill
It is.
because
September,
of what
it
happened.
Totally is. Yeah.
Yeah, because like fall's supposed to be like, hey, it's fall, blah 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 blah. You know, like women get pumpkin spice lattes and guys go out and start
Right.
working on stuff and raking leaves and blah blah blah. And then
Right.
all of a sudden, here's that.
Yeah.
And it's like a reminder to everybody that, oh my God, you know, everybody stops for a minute because that was so unnecessary. You know? It just
I
is.
know.
It's
My-
just so
My
unnecessary.
doctor always, I don't know why she does this, but every September 11th is like my freaking physical.
Oh my
I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, jeez, man.
That's coincidence.
Like,
Yeah.
she's done it 3 times in a row, and this time, remember, she's not in town or something, but, it's on the 14th now, but...
Well, then now it's not a coincidence.
Right, it broke the circle.
Right.
Right. The zero factor has been broken.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, you know,
I've made flights before. Like, nope, I'm not even gonna touch September 11th. Nope.
no.
It's like
hell
I'll go the
no.
9th. I'll go the 12th.
Right.
The 10th.
I want to go anywhere. Right.
I think I'm just gonna skip September altogether.
I know. I
Yeah.
was
I'll go in
like, I
August.
don't think I've actually ever booked one in September. I
Or
think
October.
my stepdad actually talked about one, and we ended up doing November. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Gotcha. Right.
Right.
Because I would have been. I was like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we don't need.
You know,
Yeah.
like-
no.
I might have flown home on September 11th.
Copycats
Actually, it was a little
and-
eerie.
yeah.
Did you say phone home?
I said flown
Oh,
home.
Easy
flown
From
phone
Boston.
home.
Okay,
we were out
okay.
there. I think
Flown
we might
home.
have flown home on September 11th. It was a little eerie.
Flown
Oh,
home.
I was
yeah.
like, have some faith. Have some faith.
Yeah, amen. Jeez.
Yeah. You know, and
You
like
got
I
it,
said,
girl.
everyone in the world has a story of what happened that day. I don't care where you're at. You could be here, you could be in Japan, you could be in South America, but everybody was
Yeah.
affected.
Unless you were in
Everybody.
solitary at the jail.
Well, they even knew what happened because
Right.
it directly affects them too. You
It's
know,
a solitary. But yeah, that's true. Yeah.
because who knows?
You're in the hole.
Maybe there was an office at the World Trade Center that dealt with like the supplies they get or food or whatever that like jails get, and the office could be there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's not there.
right.
Where else are you gonna get
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
food from? I mean, you make your order, the order goes here, then it goes to one World Trade Center.
Mm-hmm.
Now it can't to be like ultimately approved.
So why
So
is
it
it called
affected-
World Trade Center?
There was one World Trade Center. That was the address.
So what was the other one?
They were both.
Oh,
They were
okay.
the Twin Towers.
'Cause you
Yeah.
said
One
the
World
one-
Trade Center.
Oh.
I know there was Tower 1
Isn't that
and Tower
confusing?
2.
Okay, I was gonna say you said
The
there's
one guy
two.
described like the
Got it.
property as looking at a tic-tac-toe board.
It was.
Like there was 8 sections.
Yep.
Wow.
And building number 7 fell and nothing hit it.
Yeah, he said,
Think about
I don't know
that.
how to explain it, but he said picture it like as a tic-tac-toe board.
It fell and nothing hit it.
Exactly. Think about that.
God.
I'm just putting that out there.
They
Nothing
never
hit it.
had
No.
explanation.
Nope. Think
Wow.
about that.
Okay.
I'm putting that out there. Just think about
Oh
it.
Lord.
No, seriously. It really did. And it's like,
Damn.
it's
Where's the
unusual
shot?
because nothing hit it. Even the buildings surrounding all that.
Right, that is unusual.
Yeah, none of them
Yeah.
fell. But that one did.
Especially
That's
if
messed
everything
up.
blew out, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. It's like
everything blew like a certain
boom,
way. Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like
That is kind of strange.
This
That
or
was
that,
built
but it
really
happened.
shitty,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, and the thing that no one brings up, or that I remember, was the day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld, the head of the Federal Reserve, got on television and announced that $3 billion
Oh,
or
yeah.
$3 trillion came up missing at the Pentagon.
Isn't that
Oh.
weird?
And then the next
next
day,
day.
9/11 happened. And then
Right.
what happened to the money? No one
Right.
ever talked about it
Ever
again.
again. It
Yeah.
just went away.
Yeah.
It just disappeared because
But nobody asked.
2,900 people died.
I know.
Damn, whoever took that shit.
You know, and people are gonna, there's people, you know, and I'm a person, okay, that I believe in certain conspiracies. I'm not gonna talk about that today, but there's certain ones that believe that the government did it.
Right.
You know, that the government killed its own people. And who's to say, because there's governments,
That'd be really twisted and sick.
That
yeah,
would be.
but
That
there's
would
governments
be.
around the world that
But
have
yeah,
done that.
I know.
So
That is so messed up.
It's not out of the
Right, it's
realm
not.
of
I
possibility.
don't want to believe
It's
it.
not.
Damn
You
it.
don't want to believe
Right,
it, though.
you definitely don't want to
No,
believe
you
it.
don't.
Just
But
for the
aside-
government out there. I don't.
Right, but aside from all of that,
Don't kill me.
one of the people that
Please.
really made a huge impact today was Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York. Oh my God, he was the mayor of America.
He
ever
used to
since
be
then,
like
yes,
really good. Like he's gone.
He's
just
went
in my
corporate, as we
opinion,
call it
he's-
now.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he's
a
went-
mudslide.
Yep,
you know?
he's went
Yeah.
corporate, as we call it now. But back then, that man gave a damn.
Yeah, he loved New
Yeah.
York. Yeah,
He
definitely.
did. He loved New York, and he did a
Yeah.
lot for New York. And I'm telling you what, New York was one of the best eras ever with him. You know what I mean? That's like Richard Daley being the mayor of Chicago. You know, but the thing of it is, I think is his father and then his grandfather were also the mayors of Chicago
wow.
too before him. But Richard Daley did good things for Chicago. You know,
Right.
And it's just But you know, it's just very
I don't know why
unfortunate.
that made me think of another survivor story. So
Yeah.
this firefighter lady, she wanted to trade shifts with somebody, but the guy didn't want to. But it was lucky for her that they didn't, because it was ladder 105, which is one of the firefighters that all disappeared.
Yep,
Yeah.
So she would have been like
one of them.
Yes, that's crazy. Like, isn't that funny how life
They
saves your ass
disappeared?
sometimes? Yeah.
You know, and
They all
because
died. Ladder 105.
you know, and one thing that changed from all
I
this
didn't
too.
know that.
Yeah, one thing that changed from all of this is like now when we see soldiers or firefighters or police officers, we thank them for their service. We weren't doing that so much before, but now,
Shit.
Oh,
We
yeah,
are.
definitely.
you know, and them men prove just how much of heroes they really are to go into a burning building that collapsed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To save,
Really.
Save others.
lives.
Yeah.
It's
that's
gotta
what
be
they do.
terrifying. It's
You
gotta
know,
be.
so to all the police officers and firefighters and anybody, thank you.
Yeah, there was another one, like the guy that was coming down with another lady. Like, I guess there was an EMT lady that said, "Here, can you take this lady?" He still doesn't even know if that lady lived or died. The EMT lady or EMS, whatever.
And then they had cadaver dogs out there after everything was said and done, and they had to like reassure the
A lot of
dogs
the dogs didn't make it
because
either.
they couldn't find,
Right.
People.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were finding people months afterwards.
I
Months.
felt bad for this one. They found like one of their friends dead on Christmas Day. I mean, she had been dead, you know what I mean? But they found her body
Right.
in the rubble.
It was
on
confirmed.
Christmas Day.
Yep.
It's just like, damn, Merry
You know,
Christmas.
and then there was a subway stop underneath the
Maybe
World
you
Trade
should
Center
have
that was
called
completely
after that.
collapsed
No, I can believe
because
it.
of the weight of the building. But yet there was sections of it that still were open.
What was it?
There was a subway stop underneath the World Trade Center where you could ride the subway to the World Trade Center, get off, and you'd be in the building. Like, it was down in the deep, deep part of it.
Yeah.
And it was collapsed.
A lot of people
I
talked
wonder
about
if there were anybody in there.
Oh,
when it
yeah.
happened.
like,
Oh, yeah.
What about the elevators?
I don't think
one
there
guy was actually in the elevator when the first plane hit.
Oh, yeah.
He said it shook, the lights went out, they came back on, they went
Yeah.
back out, they came back on, and then they went from floor 84 down to 45. is where it's at.
Jeez.
Holy.
It didn't. He said it wasn't like a fast ride or anything. It just like
Slow
just,
descent?
Yeah.
It was a slow
But
descent.
then they got out of the steps and went up the stairs because they had no idea what was happening yet.
Yeah.
But a lot of them said like the lights would flicker, but they all came back on like nothing ever happened.
Right.
I wonder if it was
So-
backup or something.
They
It was
must
backup
have one hell of a
generator.
generator or something.
It is.
Because, I
Oh,
mean,
and they
to,
are.
like, for
Yeah.
everybody to have that same story, it's like,
Yep.
wow.
Because there's separate wiring for that.
Yeah.
You know, the
Pretty
main
incredible.
wiring
They're
goes
like,
to the
it just
main
came
box.
back on. Like,
If there was a
Yeah.
fire on the stairs, like that's the only. I don't know. I mean, I guess
I'd
you'd
run
have
through
to
it.
try.
like two guys picked up a lady in a wheelchair. Like picked up her
God
wheelchair and
bless
went down
them.
the steps with her. It's
Yeah.
like that's amazing. I
That
didn't even
is.
think about them. You know, I'm like,
You're trying to get out and
Yeah.
how physically tough that is, and mentally even, and then to help carry someone
they
else.
did say like
That's
everybody just
amazing.
pitched in and helped everybody that
That's-
day. It's like there was no selfishness.
that's why
like,
they made
just
it.
were all
Yeah.
helping each other.
Yeah, there was
And
no
that's pretty
boundaries.
amazing. Like
That's how
nobody's
it should be.
shoving, nobody's trampling.
Humankind.
Yeah,
And not
so-
freaking out, and it's hard not to freak out. I'm
Exactly.
doing crap like
I
that.
was amazed how many like could think.
But if you, could
I don't
put-
know if I could think during like I was
Or
like, how did they
function even.
think of this stuff like right off the bat? You
Mhm.
know, just to get
But
out.
if they, it shows you though, if we just work together more, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Even with
exactly.
other countries, like this world could be such a better place.
It sure
you know,
can.
it's
But it
it's
starts
just
with
a
the
matter of
people.
happening.
It sure does.
Yeah,
It starts
Right.
with the people.
yeah.
Period. You know, they gotta want it.
Amen.
Amen. It's just, yeah. Man, I tell you what a bummer though. You know, like yesterday it rained all day long.
I know, how somber. Like, what a amazing. I mean, for our September 11th, it rained.
And we were gonna do it yesterday.
It just, yeah.
Yeah, and then like after working yesterday, and I was just like bushed. And then I get a hold of you, and you were like sleepy. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it tomorrow.
Watching all these like Survivor stories, like I was just wiped.
Yeah, because it emotionally drains you.
It does. Like, wow, it's just like they were good, but it's just like, man,
it's emotionally draining. It totally is.
Hear what they saw.
The one guy said he got back to his apartment. It was no one had taken credit for the terrorist attacks yet, so they didn't know who was responsible.
Right.
So the army came into his apartment. I guess they made everybody get the bed out of the windows.
Yeah.
He said it was looked like they were patching up for a hurricane. That they rolled up his mattress. They had like guns over his mattress. Like all these snipers were in his apartment, like overlooking. I was like, holy shit!
That close?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That and because I mean,
they
what
had
if
no idea who had done it? They didn't know if anything new was coming.
Or if there was anybody else in any of the buildings perched around or anything.
And the one guy said that there was nobody on the street.
That was pandemonium, man.
Like,
you know,
no one was on the street at all.
They went home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't blame him for doing that. Honestly.
Yeah, I and where else do you go? Like you said, like
exactly.
You know,
the only place you can go.
You want to be out of the way, or if you're gonna try to help.
Look at the hospital situation, like
right.
I mean, I'm sure they were just flooded and
I'm sure they
flooded for counties and maybe other states.
Oh man, and then you know that when they knocked Tower 2 down, that it took out all of the communications for the police and fire department in New Jersey.
Did it?
Yeah,
really?
that big tower, the big thing on top of the tower, that was the antenna.
Call home.
Yeah.
Oh
why do you think we all went to digital TV? Because that was one of the analog antennas.
Oh wow!
And we went to digital TV because we had to free up some of the analog channels for emergency services.
Oh,
that's why we went that route, because Nextel, when it was in super popular and everybody had it, was on an IDEN network, but that was a digital network. And what they freed that up, they freed up analog and digital towers so that they could use it for more emergency services, because if one got knocked out, you had the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but that was the whole reason why everything changed that day.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, God,
I have never seen gasoline below $1.49.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, and you haven't, but like I said, they did that, and it was because the first thing they did is they knocked out all of the communications.
Yeah, they did.
Because New Jersey could have came and helped.
True.
Yeah,
but they didn't know what was going on.
They were kind of locking things down, though. Like they said, if you left Manhattan, you couldn't get back in.
Nope.
It was like how Cleveland was, shut.
Water taxis were actually carrying people back and forth for a while.
Yeah,
really?
They helped
all day.
500,000 people get to safety.
Did.
That's amazing. 500,000 people.
Yes,
just
they did.
Back and taking them off to safety.
Yep,
That's
they did.
Wild.
Isn't that wild?
That's how the one guy got home, because he actually lived in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He was able to call his wife. She's like, I heard the crackling and I knew it was you. I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. That one made me almost cry.
Because you can see the Twin Towers from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close it is. Manhattan to New Jersey.
Too,
everything.
Yeah.
His wife was pregnant at the time, and they named her Hope. That's so crazy. And he's
makes sense.
He says, I get really emotional looking at my second daughter, because if I hadn't made it, she wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, oh my God.
It's
true. Think about
that.
Yeah.
It's true. And what is life without hope?
You can't have life without hope and faith.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't. Nope.
Because if you have no faith, then what have you got?
Exactly.
You got nothing.
Much, I guess.
You got nothing.
At least in my case.
In everyone's case.
The lesson he took away from this is don't dwell on unanswered questions.
Nope.
Look to the future and stay in the future.
Yep. Amen to that too. Man, I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, even just us talking about this is very emotionally draining, because it's like you can't help but feel sadness for any of it.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah, for everyone involved.
It
all
is.
The families.
It truly is.
And some people still going on in their life.
Should have been a part of 9/11. Like, I think Mark Wahlberg
No, Seth MacFarlane
Yeah,
was
him
supposed
too,
to get
but-
on a plane, but he
yeah.
was hungover and
Yes,
missed the
and that
flight.
saved his life.
Oh,
he
I heard
he
that
was
story.
passed out in the lounge
Yeah.
at the airport. That's
Yep.
crazy. I just read that. And so Mark Wahlberg, something told him to rent a car from California to New York City.
That was a spirit guide,
And
man.
he was supposed to get on that plane.
Yes, he was.
Or one of the
Wow.
planes, and he would have been part of it. That's fucking crazy.
So he
I
didn't
think
then,
it was,
right?
I think, but yeah.
Did he run a car?
Flight 11.
Yeah, he ended up
Okay.
renting a car to drive. Something
United-
told him to rent
Yep.
a car.
Was it-
Listen to those feelings.
Oh, I do.
I get them, but certain
I do
things
all
I
the
don't
time.
know
It's
what
just like,
it is,
okay, I don't
but-
understand why, but
Yep.
I'm going to do this.
You know,
Something's telling me to.
And it's really wild that I think one of the flights was United Flight 11. Was
Yep.
one of the one was I think that was the first one that hit.
Oh, the real weird one is, okay, so Frasier, back in the day,
Yeah.
actually had an episode
You mean
where
Kelsey Grammer?
American 11 crashed.
Oh Jesus!
What?
How weird.
No, this gets weirder. So when American 11 did crash, it had the creator of Frasier and his wife
Oh my
on
God!
the flight.
How weird!
I know. I'm pretty sure it was the creator. I think it was, but that's
Who
just
wrote
like,
that?
Talk about a
I
premonition.
know. It's like, it reminds me of The Simpsons, like when they said
Yeah,
premonition.
it's a
stuff.
premonition, man.
And
You know.
they were like, "Holy shit!" You know.
Oh
That's-
yeah.
Without
Bone
even
chilling,
knowing-
dude.
Yeah, that's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder really who wrote that because damn.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't think it crashed.
And it could be coincidence.
It could just. It was. I mean,
Or-
'cause that was
That's
like
a
in the
huge
early
coincidence.
90s.
But what if it was like some premonition that
That's what I'm
happened in his
saying.
mind?
And
They
they thought
saw
it was,
the episode.
and I'll write it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's
Yeah,
put this in there.
right.
Then all of a sudden
Exactly.
it freaking happens.
Yeah,
and then
I
you're
would, like,
oh.
Yeah, I'd pee my
Yeah.
pants. I'd
Oh,
be
dude.
like, what the?
So-
yeah.
I would rethink everything.
Does that
I
happen,
know.
right? Like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
United Flight 11.
Yep. That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
The other one, what was the other one that hit? It was like, I think it was a United Flight as well. But I remember Flight 11. And I remember United Flight 93.
93. And
That was the
Yeah.
one that crashed in
Yeah.
the field.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And
that
them
one.
people, all them people, man, were freaking
They're all
heroes,
brave,
man.
yeah.
They took
Yes.
them terrorists on
They
head
did.
Yeah,
on.
because they didn't know where that was
They
targeted.
didn't
at.
let them finish their
They didn't
mission.
know if it was going to
No,
the
they
Capitol.
didn't.
They didn't know
We
if it was
won
going to
that
the White
one.
House.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
We
They
won
did,
that
yeah.
one.
This is a very heroic act.
Yep.
Oh,
Because they knew they
yes.
were going to die anyway. So they're like, well, we're going to take them out. And
It
Yeah.
they
started with a flight attendant
did.
making a phone call from the back.
sure
Yeah.
did.
yeah.
But they took
letting
them out,
know what's
man.
happening.
They started collecting
They
all
would've
those
never known.
knives,
Yeah,
remember the butter
exactly.
knives and
Mhm.
anything sharp that
Yeah, box cutter.
they could.
Box
and-
cutters.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the main weapon.
That's some story, man.
It is. It really
I
is.
actually
It's-
met a producer that was writing a movie about 9/11 because remember the friend I told you that was next door in Cleveland?
Mhm.
His family had actually this is about they met Osama bin Laden, believe it or not, I'm not kidding, in Yemen.
Ooh.
And they were being interviewed about this movie, and we just got to go along to like the dinner, you know.
Oh, wow.
But hearing them talk about that shit, I was like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
Insane.
nuts. And they did write a movie, and I don't know what it was, but yeah, Caitlin still knows their names. She has the business card still, dude.
Well, if we find the name out, we'll
Yes. Yeah, because
Wow.
I'd like to know.
we'll put it
yeah.
on there. Yeah. It's just You
Yeah,
know.
it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, man. I tell you what. Really, I ain't got much left on it. But I mean, it's just sad all around. You know.
It is.
I mean, I can tell you that some of my friends and
The
were
memorial,
with me
I was
that
gonna
day.
talk about the memorial too.
Go for
So,
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Yeah. The way
I think the best picture I have found of memorial wise is, I don't know if you guys know, it looks like a jigsaw puzzle,
Yeah.
but it says if you zoom in you can see faces, and I like that one.
Wow.
Like all of them,
of everyone.
everyone that perished that day is. I mean, if you zoom in and you see faces, like, oh my god.
You know,
Wow.
they took the foundation and made them into infinity pools.
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
like
talk about
that.
that too. Like the water is so loud it drowns out the background, so you can reflect on
Yes.
the moment.
Like
You know-
say it's a conduit as well.
there
if you
was,
think of it
Big
spiritually.
time.
Yeah.
There's a tree called the survivor tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that
it survived.
I mean, it was
amazing.
almost dead, but they took it to a nursery and
Brought it back to
revived
life.
it, and they brought it back, and it became like the survival tree.
I think that's really
Wow.
cool, you know.
That's deep.
Yeah.
It is. It's
They use
really
the
deep.
seeds for other communities. Like
That's
if
really
something
cool.
That if like something happens in another community, they take the seeds elsewhere and kind of
Sure.
spread new growth.
Oh yeah. You got to.
Yeah, look
was
where
like a
it
symbol
comes
of new
back
growth
from,
and
when it came back
life.
from, and it's,
But-
you know,
Just like you
Yeah.
said, Aggie, though, that place is a conduit.
yeah.
Think about any spirit that
Oh, I
might
know.
still be there
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
confused on what
I hope not,
happened.
but yeah.
But if it's
you
a
know.
conduit, I think that could mean that maybe they're not, you know
That-
what I mean?
right.
And that
They moved on.
Or moved on, yeah.
You know, and then of course the people who were on that direct floor that got hit had no idea. They died
Oh,
instantly.
I know. Good thing. It's
It's
like-
almost mercy, I think,
Yeah.
if you think about it quick,
No.
and not some of the other people that, like you said, jumped or
It's a hell of a
they
way
felt
to
they
die,
had
though.
to, you know.
I'd rather fall to my death than get burned alive.
Yeah.
But either way, you still know you're dying. You know, I'd probably faint
There
before
was
I.
one, I can't remember. There was a survival story that the guy said he was so close he could say that he could see the U on the airplane wing.
Jesus.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I
No.
think there was
Like, he
actually
could
some
actually
people
see,
from
like-
the floor
Oh
that
my
when it
God.
got hit,
Yeah.
they were like on the
It was
other
like-
side,
Yeah, it was like on the weird part of
and they're
the.
still able to make it down
yeah,
the
on the other
steps.
side of the building. But
The
yeah.
guy I told you about that. Remember, he was leading other people, and they said if he'd made a right turn, that
Mm-hmm.
the fire was there in the other stairwell, but they didn't. He said something told him they were in pitch dark in the stairwells that to make a left turn, and they did, and they all made it down.
That's amazing.
It
yeah.
is amazing because he said I just followed his heart, or whatever you want to call it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Something guided them all down. Shoot, definitely
Like I said,
meant to live that day. I
it
think.
was just so unnecessary. You know,
anything like that.
It shouldn't have
you
happened.
know?
Yeah.
There's so many
I mean-
people that nobody deserves that.
I mean, think
That's
about
sick.
the Oklahoma City bombing. 300 people died there because of some jackass that made an ammonia fertilizer bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had the same intentions.
There's much carnage as they could, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
sick. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And, like, how could you do that? Like, I don't think. I'm not just talking about religion. I'm just saying,
Sure.
like, you really think if you know that God would want you to be on an airplane and go kill how many thousands of people?
Right.
You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
And think they're going to the promised
come
land.
on.
Right, and-
exactly.
You know
And
what
with
I mean?
that-
It's like,
The
what kind
rewards
of God?
are
Yeah,
from
that's not
murdering.
God at all.
And
No.
with that, and if they
No.
believe they'd be met by 40-something virgins, I hope they're all guys.
I do too. Yeah.
They might like that still. Don't
But
they
you
like
know what?
Man Love
Nothing
Thursday?
against it.
Burly.
Nothing
like,
against it. You know what I'm saying?
nasty.
Yeah, I
You know, because I got nothing against that. But for someone like of that magnitude, if that's what you think's gonna happen, you should be met by like dudes that are ready to like take you out. You know what I mean? With like pitchforks in
think
the
is,
ass or something.
Right.
The
right.
Robin Williams on that one. Have you heard that one?
Yes.
Where
I
he's
have.
like, it might be a mistranslation. What if it's like 40 Virginians?
Oh, that's funny.
41
40
raisins.
Virginians.
Right.
That's cute.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like,
40
expecting his
Virginians.
bitches, here are your raisins, he says.
But I don't believe there's any God anywhere
No,
in this
that's
universe
just
pure
that
evil.
would.
That's so pure
Right.
evil.
No.
That's
Delusion.
That's not
delusion.
God of love right there.
that's the dude downstairs.
That's
Man.
Yeah.
brainwashing. I mean, really, to be raised to
It's demonic.
think that. I mean,
It is.
I don't care what religion you are, or whether you're not.
right.
Like, I'm just saying, like, if you are religious, like, come on.
I was really disturbed how they were just saying they're cheering that they took us down, you know?
I
Just
know,
like,
that's sick.
and they're kids too.
I
Like,
know.
The kids are just cheering like
Joe, when he was
I
in
was
the
like, this
in
is
Iraq,
not good.
yeah, in Afghanistan, he went both. He said that they'd have kids throwing stuff at them.
Oh, I
and
know.
he says like they saw some of the weirdest stuff. I heard mortars going off as I'm talking to him on the
IUDs.
phone. Oh my gosh, boo, boo, and I'm like, oh my god.
No, that's why I'm not against my kids taking their shoes off the airport. I'm like, let them take their shoes
Do
off.
it,
Right.
yeah,
I'm like,
do it.
why do kids have
Don't
to take off their
fight
shoes?
it.
I'm like, I get they can go through like a scanny thing, but
But only an evil person would use their kid as a martyr.
I
That's the
know.
thing. Who?
I would never.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sick, dude.
That
There's
is
so
sick.
many bombers that use children and women and
Oh,
children.
definitely women get used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if a man's got a problem with another
They'll
man,
stop to check on the woman, see
Yeah.
if she's all right, and they use people caring.
Right.
I tell you what, if a man's got a problem with another man, do it man to man. Don't use a woman or a child as a martyr.
Exactly.
Period. Don't be a bitch. You know, if you got a problem with another man, take it up with the man. Period. You know,
There's one
innocent
way.
people
Yeah.
don't deserve to
know,
die.
but-
Period. Period. Innocent people don't deserve to die.
Hell no.
Because all they're doing is living their damn life, and then all of a sudden, they're not.
It is not
Wow.
what we should all be able to do.
And
you
it's-
know,
it's-
without fear that
Right.
something
Life,
is going to happen.
Liberty, and the pursuit of happiness should be for everyone.
Like that. Yeah.
It
I
should
agree.
be, yes. It should. Even if it's like, I mean, and I'm not stating what China or Russia is doing is correct, but even if they were communist, okay? I mean, no, China is.
Right.
Russia's not. But they still have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Period.
know.
You know? Yeah, but, of course, you know, communist leaders don't believe that because they're for them. Themselves. And, you know, what they can hand down to whoever the fuck. Pardon me, guys. I know I
Yeah.
wasn't going to swear in this, but
That's
it's,
okay.
you know...
But
but
it isn't me.
But the point is,
passionate.
the,
Yeah,
I know, me too.
the point is like innocent people do not deserve to die.
No.
Period. That's all there is to it.
That's not our choice.
What's that?
Yeah,
I always
that's-
think of.
And it's not-
Like
I always
you say,
mess
meet
with
your
it.
maker.
It is not our
Yeah.
right at
Yeah.
all to do such a thing. I mean, that's
To
God.
pick, you know what I
God is
mean?
the one
Yeah,
who says
we
when you
don't
go.
You know.
Is
you
it
know.
Zelensky? I always mess up his name.
Yeah, Zelensky. Is it?
Ukraine.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
I
cool,
keep saying
man.
that, but
I think he's kind of hot.
oh
too.
god, girl! I know. I was watching the interview. I'm like,
His
oh
little
my
zip-up
god! I don't know what
sleeves,
he's
like-
saying, but he is beautiful.
I
You know,
know.
I was
You
thinking-
really should listen to what
But
he's saying.
I know, but I did, and like they did translate it in English.
He's
But
an intelligent man, and you know he's very brave.
I
He's a
really
fighter.
want
He's normal.
them
He is
to win. I'm
normal.
like, he
Yeah.
is just amazing.
Dude,
he
he-
sticks with his people. He's just not for hate, you know.
Who picks up? Who's the president of any country picks up a gun and goes and fights with their own people?
I know.
I know.
Only that
I
guy.
know.
Why the
and
hell
Teddy
can't we
Roosevelt.
get that? I'm like, why did we?
We did. We did it one time
Yeah, but
Way
Why did
back
he
in-
remember he's even holding a gun?
You should be
because everything's too political.
If you
I'm
are
just
going
joking.
to
I
be
said
president,
Biden can't remember he's holding a gun.
Do you remember the
Well,
kings?
you know, I'm not going to neither see
By
here
his
nor
own
there.
dick in his
You
hand.
know, hey,
Right? Hell yeah.
that's one person's opinion.
They're
I
our
know.
opinion. I mean,
Shit,
you
we
know,
don't
It is, and
like,
everybody's
it's
got it,
all right.
and we're entitled to it,
It's
and
cool,
that's
you
cool.
know?
Yeah, of course,
it's
you
his
know.
opinion.
But if you're gonna be president, at least be of like sound mind.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
God.
Sound mind, like you
Not
know, like
have
on
shit.
Beetlejuice, where she goes. I am Lydia Dietz, and I have a sound mind. Yes, I love that man of mine. You know, and when he talks for her,
Yes.
yeah, and that's when he makes sure to say, "I am Lydia Dietz, and I am of sound mind."
Right.
Yeah, because like when a person is like makes another person a power of attorney, you have to do it legally when they're
Oh,
of
yes.
sound mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because if you don't, that's taking advantage of somebody. And
Yeah,
that's a
sad,
criminal
There are
offense.
people
Yes.
with Alzheimer's, and the problem is some people with it. That's why they call it sundowners.
Sundowners,
is
yep.
They're okay until like
Sun goes
5
down.
o'clock hits. 6,
Oh,
Then
yeah.
it goes, and there are some people that use that, which is sick, to get the
What they want.
power
Right.
of attorney. Yeah.
And the sickest part is it's families who
That's
do
what
it.
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's
That's
usually a family
yes,
member.
that's wrong.
That's just
Like,
as bad as killing innocent people, as far as I'm
It's
concerned.
taking advantage of somebody who just
All because you want
don't
something.
deserve it. Yeah, that's very selfish. It is.
You know, if I wasn't put in a will for a certain reason, I obviously deserve that. And that's just all there is to it, you know? Good, bad, whatever.
Yeah, that's their choice.
That's
you know?
their choice.
Yeah.
I can't influence what people think.
I'm not going to
you
force
know?
somebody's
all I can,
hand. shoot,
Exactly.
you
all I
know,
can be
or
is
cheat
a,
them.
a kind person who tries to help people.
All you can do.
And
yeah.
if you don't feel that I've done that, okay. That's cool.
That's all right.
Because
yeah.
there's a million
You know
other
what you
people
did.
that
Yeah,
know that
right.
I have helped them. And it's, we could go on and on and on about it.
Exactly.
But all the same, the point of all this is it was a really tragic event that happened, and it should not have happened, but it
No,
did.
It should not have.
And it changed the face of reality as far as we know
Of America.
and the world.
But the
You
weird,
know?
okay, so during that time, we all like united together.
Yeah.
And now we're all like
divided.
Again, it's like,
Excuse me.
what the fuck?
If there's anything we
It's
put
just
out there,
crazy.
we would
It's
love for
tragic.
folks.
I know,
Brings-
like, let's just
United.
Yeah, well,
come back together
You know,
as a whole.
and
Stop fighting with each other.
it,
It's so
and the
stupid.
reason. Oh no, I can hear you just fine on there.
You can?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You're crystal clear.
Okay.
Now, the point of our podcast, and I always say that we don't talk this or that because my goal for all of us is to unite people.
Right,
Because
exactly.
anybody can listen to what we talk about. We just bullshit. We get serious. I mean, today is one of them. But that was the goal. Like, ultimately, is to bring people together to listen, to
Right, 'cause
form an
everybody
opinion.
had an experience that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
everybody
definitely.
was affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another
If you
thing.
weren't,
One way or
that's even
another.
more disturbing.
It is. And another
Yeah.
thing that I would like to also put out there is a challenge to agree to disagree.
Yes.
Because that is something that people do not
That's your
do
right.
anymore.
Yeah, that's
you
your
can,
right to
you-
have an opinion,
Yeah.
and we're not pushing opinions on
Right.
anybody. We never do that.
I have best friends who have opinions on things, and that does not affect my opinion
No,
of who
no,
they
it
are
shouldn't.
as an individual.
Exactly right.
See,
and that's how it should be.
And that's exactly how it should be, but it isn't. So I pose a challenge to anybody out there to just agree to disagree. If you don't
Yeah,
like what they're
exactly.
saying, just cut the conversation short, call it good, and do not form an opinion of that person.
Right. Don't let
Yes.
it be a fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or an
there's-
argument.
Right. There's so
Yeah.
many other things
Right.
that you can.
I saw
do.
families torn apart over politics.
I know.
It's so sad.
I
It's
know,
sick.
that's the dumbest thing.
It really is.
It really is.
It's
It's bad. It's
Just,
bad.
Like you said, agree to disagree.
Exactly.
It's all
Just
right.
because you don't agree, that doesn't mean somebody,
Right.
Your glasses are in there.
Oh,
they?
snap.
I didn't want you to crush them.
Literally.
No, and seriously,
Right.
just agree to disagree and get
Yeah.
along.
Yes.
Everybody, please get along.
Oh
It's
my god,
not.
everybody gets so offended about everything now.
They do,
It's
and
like,
there's, I got an
Yeah.
idea. I pose a
Ugh.
challenge.
it's so
Don't
Sensitivity.
get offended.
offended. I'm like, if you're offended, just shake it off and go on about your day.
Yeah.
Right. We're stronger than that. You
Voice it
gotta
on
be, man.
Facebook every 5 minutes.
Right, and another thing,
Ugh.
mind your business.
Amen.
That's
It's
why I don't write a lot, if you notice.
You don't
because,
either.
Like, I
You don't.
Just I see.
You see all the
sometimes Other
negativity.
people's out there, and like some people put too much TMI.
Yeah.
They really
things that,
do. Oh my
like,
god.
Yeah.
People sharing Facebook.
Like,
But
I'm like, what?
But though, that's
the
50% of it. The other 50% are there's people out there trying to encourage and to
Yeah, and I
raise
like
up
that.
people and
Those are
to
the ones I like.
promote
You know,
Yeah, me too.
positiveness
like your guys's and
happiness
other
and joy.
people, yeah, that like how they're doing good.
Yeah.
And, just positive stuff. You don't have to put like, the
No.
horrible things here
No,
and
you
there.
don't.
and-
So-
you know what I mean? Yeah.
So I think with all that, folks, we love all of you. We do. And it was
We
just a
love
sad,
the
sad day.
world.
And I think the next year when this comes
is
again,
that
we'll
time?
have more.
Right.
We'll have more stories. I think we should make this like a yearly thing because there's so many of them.
There are.
Yeah.
It could go on forever.
We could. You good with that?
Yeah.
I think
that'd be
every
great
year
to do,
this
like,
time
like
we should-
survivor stories.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Why
positive
not?
Stories.
The-
and,
yeah. That is positive.
And I have a
It really
year,
is,
so I have no excuse.
You know. Damn. What was-
Somebody shook the
It does
floor.
make you wonder how like the families are doing.
All right.
you know.
Well, we can always check on that too.
No,
but-
I know, but just like, oh,
Yeah. Well, to all of them, we love you. Your our prayers and our thoughts, and
Yeah, definitely.
definitely.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
So on that note, I was gonna mention my cousin's podcast. What?
Go ahead.
Oh,
I can hear you now.
since we were talking about first
Yeah.
responders, firefighters, and military, he started a podcast that's called Heroes Debrief. It's on Spotify.
Ooh, cool.
It's about like their stories.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
EMS survivor
That's great.
stories.
Yeah.
Like some of them are crazy. It's like
Very
what?
cool.
Like this girl, she's like thinking like my build. Like she got choked out by a 6'2" guy,
Whoa.
and she was kind of scared. And just like
Well,
wow.
yeah.
Kinda.
I mean,
The last one I was laughing a lot because it was like a former, I can't remember if he was Army or Navy, but it
Yeah.
was one of my cousin's friends, and I was cracking up at his stories. But it's really good. You guys should check it out. Everybody
we
should
will.
check
I
it out.
definitely will,
What's it-
and I hope everybody
what was it
else
called
does
again?
too.
It's called Heroes Debrief.
Heroes Debrief.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
look it up and support them.
I've
Yeah,
shared it
I
on a
definitely
page.
like
I've
them.
shared it on a random
Yes.
Cast page on
Yeah,
Facebook.
I saw that, and I
so-
was
Yeah.
thinking of that, but I'm so
I keep
ADD.
forgetting to mention it. I was like,
Yeah,
today's the day. I should actually mention
Yes.
it because the
Yes.
first responders,
Yes.
EMTs,
We'll put it out
and-
there again too
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
page. Yeah.
No, that's
I
awesome.
think they've only got 2 episodes, but the first
That's okay.
they're hour long and they're
Yeah.
really good. It's just like
They're
wow.
beginning.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Start
cool. So
for
we'll,
it. Yeah.
I think
So I
every
wanted to
episode
give
we'll
them a
mention
shout
them.
out. They're doing really good.
Yeah.
And keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah.
And shout out to all my friends
And ladies, sorry.
Yeah, right.
There are ladies on the podcast too.
And shout out to all my
the ladies.
right. Shout
It's
out-
funny because like I'll like think of questions and this lady will actually ask the person like, "Oh hell yeah, I like this
That's
lady."
great. Yeah.
And shout out to
I
all
like
my-
that.
Shout out to all
Because I
my
had this same thought. This one guy was talking about how he got to choose where he wanted to be stationed. And then I was like, "How the hell did you get to choose?" And she's like, "How the hell did you get to choose?" I was like, "Oh, I like this girl." Okay, sorry.
You're good. I tried.
You can have the
I
floor now
tried.
if you want, Nick. I'm
I
sorry.
tried, damn
This
it.
is my show, bitch. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
right?
Well, I get to end
We
it.
own this. bitch.
I've had too much coffee. I'm sorry.
Yes, you have.
You fix it the wrong time, and then it's like,
We can always mute it. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah,
No,
right.
but in all seriousness, though, no, shout out to everybody who gave us information and to my
Yes.
friends who shared stories with me and us about what happened on 9/11. And, of course, look up the podcast. What's it?
Heroes Debrief.
Heroes
on
Debrief. I will
Spotify.
get this. Forgive me. I will get this.
good memory,
So,
partner.
but to everybody,
Exactly.
it is that time. We are done for today. And, no, remember, our love is with you guys.
Yes.
And we will
Love to
do this.
all.
Yeah, everybody. You know, we will be back again next year to do this again with more stories of this.
And
because
next week, too.
I was just gonna
Oh,
say
again,
that.
next week,
It's
too. We're not
we won't
done.
be back for a year. I'm taking a break.
Look, I
We'll
need,
be back
I need
next
something
September.
I need something happy.
Like shit, there goes our anniversary episode.
Yes, I need something happy. Damn it.
Yes, we will definitely.
We're almost been here a year.
I can't believe October 5th.
Yeah.
I know.
That went by
Jeez.
super fast.
Hell yeah,
Oh
dude.
my god.
But thank you to everybody who supports us, listens to
Yes,
us,
thank
and
you so much. This has been
dinner or
amazing.
something.
Incredible.
make our dream come true and subscribe. We're poor and got 5 kids to feed. Danny,
Yeah,
my
I
name's
have 10
Danny.
children.
Right. All right, y'all. We love you. This is the end, and
at
we
it.
will be
Bye.
back later on, or even this weekend or next week, somewhere in there. But anyways,
We'll be back.
we will be back. In the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know. So hey,
Man.
y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
We love y'all. Be good. Be safe. Have a good week.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.